Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing? That's nice. Salams, where are you from? We'll start in 5 minutes. But I'm thinking of something new this time, and that is as soon as we hit 100 people logging in, or 5 minutes, we will begin. So if 100 people log in, then we don't care about the people that come late. Salams, where are you from? We'll get started. Salams, where you from? Say salam. Where are you from? Hey, Seerah's tuned in. Welcome, Seerah. We've been making dua for you. Hadra wa alaikum assalam. So he said that as soon as we hit 100 people or 5 minutes, we will begin. If we hit 100 people before, alhamdulillah. Welcome, Seerah. Shazard in Trinidad, Tobago. Radiyya, alaikum assalam. Wafa, alaikum assalam. Hadra's in Canada. You know, the other thing, I'm getting kind of annoyed of the Good Morning Vietnam thing. So I'm thinking of changing it to whichever country is most represented in the salams in the beginning. Mariam Hamida from Swiss Kids, Asia, Balqis, and Juju. Always tuning in. Jazakallah khairan from Switzerland. Masood in New York. Allah protect you. Ameen. Samina in Qatar. Hey, that's cool. And the answer is from Cool Runnings. Hey, Senka, you dead? The answer of Ace is saying the answer to the riddle. Hey, Senka, you dead? What's Senka? Salam from Edmonton. Respected sir, wa alaikum assalam. Dina, wa alaikum assalam. Hawa, Nigeria, wa alaikum assalam. Tabida, wa alaikum assalam. Salma, wa alaikum assalam. Farha. And we've hit 100. We've hit 100. Let's get started. Take one. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala, amma ba'd. Good morning, Canada. Yesterday, we had the Time to Thrive Summit, which was based on, mental health. We did that. We were planning that before what had taken place with the virus. Alhamdulillah, we're able to turn the topics and the discussion towards things that we're dealing with, such as anxiety and stress and isolation and all of these things. And so it was an amazing day. Shout out if you thumbs up if you were there yesterday, inshallah ta'ala, attending those sessions. So one of the beneficial sessions was a session by Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim. And he said something interesting, and I told him that, I want to do a reminder based on what you said. So this is what's interesting. So the Prophet ﷺ experienced stress, experienced anxiety when he received revelation. Yeah. So in the story of Iqra, when Jibreel alayhi came to the Prophet ﷺ and gave him the first revelation, and he came down the mountain. There's many examples of ways you can deal with stress in that one incident. But the one that we're going to talk about today is the first thing that he said to Khadija, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first thing he said to Khadija to deal with the anxiety that he was experiencing was, Zammiluni, Zammiluni. Cover me, cover me. And that's our topic for today. How about that? We got an awesome topic for you guys today. It's all based on that statement, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, which means wrap me up, cover me up. So, the Prophet ﷺ, his first response to anxiety was to be wrapped in warmth or wrapped and covered up. A few months ago, actually, I think it's about a year ago, I came across something called a weighted blanket. a weighted blanket. It's a blanket that is very heavy. It's like a blanket, you can't throw it onto a bed. It's too heavy. It feels like dumbbells. This blanket. And it's meant for anxiety, actually. And it's meant for maybe children with ADHD, people who have like this stress and anxiety. And I bought this blanket because I wanted to try it out. So if you haven't heard of this kind of a blanket, it's a like I said, it's a very, very heavy blanket, depending on your body size. And the purpose of the blanket is that it presses down on your body. Almost like if you've ever gotten a massage and just the therapist's hands pressing on your body is a way of relief. SubhanAllah. And even, it just comes to mind, a lot of times the Prophet ﷺ, if he's talking to somebody, giving da'wah to them, he'd put his hand, such as that boy who came and asked about zina, and the Prophet ﷺ put his hand on his chest, pressing onto that boy. So weighted blanket. So today, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to share with you some examples that when you're feeling stress and you're feeling anxiety, that we can follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and find ways to find comfort from the anxiety, to find rest and comfort. So the first thing is weighted blankets. And being covered and understanding and appreciating that. And maybe like a benefit there is if you have children, we already do this for children. When we want to put them to sleep or we want to comfort them, we grab them and hold them close. But maybe as adults, we also need that as adults, whether a weighted blanket or you have a spouse or something. Think of this moment that maybe your spouse needs a hug and needs to be like covered up and taken care when they're feeling anxious. The next thing is, the next two things come from a verse in which the companions radiallahu anhum in the Battle of Badr were very anxious about the battle that was going to be taking place the next day. You'll see all throughout the narrations about the Battle of Badr, the anxiety from the Prophet ﷺ, the anxiety from the companions, because they weren't prepared for this battle and they didn't have, the tools to take on this situation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذ يغشيكم النعاس أمنة منه وينزل عليكم من السماء ماء ليطهركم به ويذهب عنكم رجز الشيطان وليربط على قلوبكم ويثبت به الأقدام. I love this verse because it's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dealt with the stress and anxiety that the companions were feeling. And subhanAllah, this is Allah helping them deal with the anxiety. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them rest. إِذْ يُغَشِّيكُمُ النُّعَاسَ أَمَنَةً مِّنْهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and remember when, and nu'as is like when it's that rest where you're sitting down and you're like dozing off. And nu'asa amanatan min. That Allah gave that drowsiness and that being able to sleep as a way of security from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we see even the blessing of being able to go to sleep peacefully and restfully is a gift from Allah azza wa jalla. So Allah gave up to the companions before the Battle of Badr rest. The second thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, and as the verse continues, وَيُنَزِّلُ عَلَيْكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down upon the companions rain. So we see two things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them peaceful rest and gave them rain. For me, if anybody ever asks me what's my favorite weather, what's your favorite weather, you're welcome to post in the comments. My favorite weather is rain. Now, maybe if you live in places where it's always raining and you don't appreciate it as much, but for me, rain is like the best. And if I have the choice of white noise or some sound on my phone, I'll always choose rain. Rain is always my relaxation. It's my calm. It's my safe space. When it's raining outside and you're like click, 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 click on the windows, subhanAllah, that's like amazing. And you'll see here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down the rain before the Battle of Badr to ease the hearts of the companions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِيَرْبِطَ عَلَى قُلُوبِكُم, that make you to make steadfast your hearts. So Allah kept their hearts firm with rain and kept their hearts firm with restful sleep. So let's look at how to apply this. As you're feeling this anxiety during this time, think of, and I was actually talking to my family before preparing, before I got on here, and I asked each family member, what's your comfort spot? What do you do when you need to be cozy, when you need to feel safe, when you need to feel loved? What is your hygge, as they say in Denmark? I have issues with Denmark, but what's your, so it might be rain, it might be a cup of tea, a cup of warm tea, and then when you make your cup of tea, you feel like you're in control, and you feel blessed, and you smell that, Earl Grey tea or whatever. What is your, I like to give you guys a moment to think about this. What is your thing that makes you feel safe, makes you feel calm? What's your thing that makes you feel safe, makes you feel calm? Is it restful sleep? Is it, you don't have to go to work, you get to sleep in? Is it a heavy blanket? Is it the sound of rain? Some people are saying light sunshine in the spring. I love the afternoon. It reminds me of Winnipeg, being a little kid and sunshine coming through the day. Pen says warm water with lemon. Heidi's laughing at my hygge. Restful sleep, sure. A full night's sleep with a heavy blanket. Yeah. What else? Who else has something different? Tea. You guys are all giving examples that I gave. Sleep. Burning some nice luban and Somali tea. So the thing with, I don't know what you mean by luban, but maybe you're talking about incense. And incense is also, so a couple of people are like, we're not tea people, we're coffee people. Incense is also something nice smells. And the Prophet ﷺ used to love beautiful smells. So you could have those diffusers or incense in the house, and it brings like some calm. Somebody said candle. Hugging. Bushra said when you're reading a book. For me, even so, Bushra, reading a book, sometimes even like for some reason, if I read a young adult type of book, like a kid's book, I don't know what it is about that, but it reminds me of when I was a kid, and it brings me comfort. Because some books are like really serious. We got hot bath. Somebody is asking, what's the question? What is your thing that you do in order when you're feeling anxious that brings you comfort, that brings you calm? I give examples from the Quran, such as being wrapped in a blanket, like the Prophet ﷺ, the Battle of Badr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to deal with their anxiety before the Battle of Badr, Allah sent them rain, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them restful sleep. Talking to friends and walks. All right, cool. I would like to kind of moving this along, our reminders almost come to an end, advising you guys to pick one of those things that brings you comfort and calm when you feel anxiety, and that brings you comfort and calm and go and do that now. I know you might be jumping to another. You know what's interesting? Nobody said social media. When I feel anxious, I love to check Instagram, right? Instagram, Facebook, emails, they're kind of like the opposite of what we're talking about. It doesn't make you feel safe and calm. It actually kind of intensifies the fear and the anxiety. So hot chocolate, drop some halal marshmallows in there. What is it for you? Make an intention right now that as soon as you get off this Facebook Live, you'll go and do that. Go and have yourself that cup of tea or get some restful sleep, or do what makes you feel safe, makes you feel loved, makes you feel happy. All right, and the answer to the riddle is, for those of you who checked out the riddle, tune in soon we go live about 5 minutes before the hour at about 2:55 p.m. New York time. The answer to the riddle is... Actually, what is the riddle? What question can you never answer yes to? The answer is sleep. Are you sleeping? The question that you can never answer yes to is, are you sleeping? And that's it. If you guys want to check out the weighted blanket that I spoke about in the beginning, in the description of this video, I put a link for you so you can check out what I'm talking about with a weighted blanket. And if that interests you, I've tried it out, and it's kind of weird for people because it's actually really heavy. The weighted blanket is actually really heavy. And sometimes, for a bigger body like myself, I have to get a heavier body, and then you can't put kids underneath that because it's too heavy for them, and so on. But so people didn't like it, but I loved it. Anyways, that's it for today. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If everybody can say salam to Seerah, alhamdulillah, she's back and she's safe. Jazakallah khairan for her and her family. And I will pin her comment so you can send her some thumbs up. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are done. Short reminders, community huddles, welcome every day, 2:55 p.m. New York time. Assalamu alaikum.